all the time the honourable member has been alive, there was an Oystins. For all the time the honourable member was in this place, there was an Oystins. That he has not chosen prior to now to visit that place with any regularity is no one's fault. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not about Oystins. Let us not make it about that. Mr. Speaker, a number of things that have been said, much of which must be corrected for the record. The records of this House, sir, I believe can only be pulled by the honourable member if we are still within the same session. It would have been within the last 2 months that the honourable member would have stood in his place and made it abundantly clear that he did not want money spent in Oystins. He said that. It is part of the record, and I'm inviting him, sir, to call, not to stand up, you can stand up, but call for the records of this House as you, and only you can do with respect to your speech. Don't just stand up. Don't just raise yourself onto your hind legs. Call for the record of your speech.
All right, you go on. Go on, son.
You done?
Go on, little fella.
No, I sat down to allow you to speak.
Go on, little
To
fella.
call for the record of your speech.
All right, look. You
What point are you on,
want
member?
me to raise a point?
Honourable member, what point are you on?
We're
What
both
point
on our
are you
feet.
on?
We're both on our feet.
Well, I would give way if you can call for the record of your speech. I thought so. Not for the first time since going to that place, he has demonstrated that he is capable only of bluffing. Bluffing!
Honourable member, your mic is on?
My mic is on.
Oh, okay.
My mic is on, sir.
Continue
The country must know that he's not only that he's bluffing, but this is demagoguery that we are subjected to here,
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Speaker, sir. It is what are you on now?
I just declined.
It's a point of order.
I was merely declining to stand on the point of order because it makes no sense responding. They've said it so often.
So then,
and it
honourable
makes no sense
member, there's no
responding.
point of order.
The honourable member, Mr. Speaker, sir, if the honourable member has decided that in the latter stages of, in the evening of his years, he wants to enjoy himself and come and use this place as a plaything, that's a matter for the honourable member. But you cannot read your WhatsApp and collect your messages from the quarter of George Street that you lead. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the records of this House will reflect that the honourable member did in fact say he wanted nothing. He distanced himself unequivocally from the financing that would have been dedicated to Oystins, Mr. Speaker, sir. That fell from the lips of the honourable representative for Oystins, Christchurch South. No, Mr. Speaker, sir, and as I indicated, sir, if he is going to profess his innocence of that charge, then it falls to him and him alone in this House to call for the records of his speech. And if he does not possess either the intestinal or testicular fortitude so to do, we can move on. The next point, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that we have to all accept a responsibility to speak truthfully to the issue of the interests of Barbados. It ain't only that honourable member, sir. All of us have an interest in this country. The future of Barbados, all of us have a vested interest in that. And Mr. Speaker, sir, equally we have an interest in the record of financial practice in this country. I don't know about anybody else, sir, but I am not going to shy away from defending that. And there is, for your benefit, honourable member, nothing to be afraid about. That's why he rose to speak. And he doesn't want us to speak about George Street either. No, sir. None of us take any degree of delight in seeing what has unfolded in George Street. So let us put it where you raised it. So it's relevant because the honourable member raised it. It's the same.
Honourable member, he has no authority to talk about relevance. He does not possess that authority.
No, Mr. Speaker,
that is
sir.
vested within the sole authority of the Speaker.
Indeed, Mr. Speaker.
So disregard what he just said.
I will do my best to unhear what he just said.
Express and exhibit judicial deafness to what
judicial
he's just
deafness
saying.
to him, Mr. Speaker, sir. But he will become discomforted when once I raise the issue of George Street, because, sir, he knows, as we all do, that that which is unfolding there now is unprecedented in the political history of this country. And I say to him, sir, that none of us wish him ill, nor, sir, are we pleased about the fact that he has been told unequivocally that they were doing well until he came along. I didn't say that, sir. That was said by his General Secretary. His General Secretary told the world we were doing well without him, and we would prefer to be without him, and that he should let the people go. None of us said that, Mr. Speaker, sir. That is what came from those two, as the Honourable Minister for St. Philip West has pointed out. The first sensible thing to do is to make sure you're welcome. Ever so welcome, just wait for a call. You don't rush to go into people's place. No, Mr. Speaker, sir. We come to what is really important, because when he had nothing to say, he went all around the world. Article 158 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, which I hold in my hand, which is a document of this House, sir, makes it possible for any country that is a member of CARICOM to go to the Development Fund of CARICOM, which is established for the purpose of providing financial or technical assistance to disadvantaged countries or to regions and sectors which are disadvantaged within any country that is a member state of CARICOM. We are here, Mr. Speaker, sir, because we are attempting to raise some capital for the purpose of treating to a sector in Barbados that is exceptionally stressed. Water scarcity, sir, has been, in this today, I think there must have been at least 4 speeches that have touched on the question of the crisis, not just in climate, but the crisis in scarcity of water with which this country has been afflicted. I said, sir, in a previous contribution in this House today, that there is an urgent need for us to be able to reuse, sir, recycle, redirect, redeploy. You can put any re you want, Mr. Speaker, sir, with respect to the water that is used in this country. And that is precisely what is being done with respect to the upgrading of the sewage plant and in Barbados, the Bridgestone sewage plant, sir, and the redirection of wastewater in this country. The redirection, the Honourable Member wonder if you can drink it. So if you're going to come to this place, sir, purely with a view to being flippant, purely with a view to espousing that which is ignorance and basic, then, sir, you will never get anywhere. And this is why I have said prior, sir, that the honourable gentleman is insistent and persistent on doing himself the disservice of not being seen as being a serious person in this parliament. It ain't a question about telling people go around Barbados and ask what your constituents think of you. It is looking at yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, am I making a fool of myself? And I want to suggest to him yet again for the umpteenth time now that he is better. In spite of all that you've heard, sir, he is better than that which he's offering. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, is it that the honourable leader of the Democratic Labour Party, let us get real about the politics, man. Is the Democratic Labour Party now being heard to say in Barbados that the Bridgestone sewage Bridgestone sewage plant should not be upgraded? Is it the policy of the Democratic Labour Party, which they say they are now putting into manifesto form, that the Bridgestone sewage plant should not be upgraded? And if it is that it is to be upgraded, then, Mr. Speaker, sir, what is the quarrel? Because you can't have it both ways. If you are to upgrade the sewage plant, then I would have hoped and thought that a sensible contribution, one worthy of the King's Council, would have been that, tell me what the upgrade is going to involve. Let me test whether or not the parameters of that which you envisage are consistent with what my own understanding of the state of the sewage plant is. That's what I would have expected, Mr. Speaker, sir, from any of the others who have held that seat that is called the leadership of the opposition seat. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, it would seem to me, I am hearing a noise like a Spanish station butting in. Is that the voice of the leader of the opposition I'm hearing, sir? As a constant drone in the background, like a cat squealing under a car tire. Mr. Speaker, sir, the fact of the matter is that if it is that he has a concern about the nature of the work being done, then let us hear that. But it cannot be a bland and empty, meaningless statement that suggests there's something wrong with government expenditure only because government is spending the money on the upgrade of the sewage project, or the sewage plant. Well, it cannot be that the Democratic Labour Party is signaling to Barbados yet again that there can be a sewage treatment issue in Barbados that needs to be attended to, and that its policy is to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear and an uncaring hand in the direction of a sewage problem in Barbados for the second time, when for the first time it was done, the consequences were felt most acutely in the constituency of the honourable member. Because if that is what the honourable member is saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, it will be the second time that he has used this parliament. It will be the second time that he has used this parliament to snub and to scorn and to insult the very people who sent him here. It will be the people who sent him here, sir, that he will be insulting for the second time.
Can you allow? Honourable, can you allow the honourable member?
No, Mr.
Honourable,
Speaker,
correct
sir.
yourself. Could you allow the honourable member for St. James Central to make his contribution without being interrupted?
I don't know why, sir, he is so nervous and so profusely irritable. He used the word today, sir, that, what was the word he used? I had to correct him. He misused the word today. Intolerable, yes. So sir, his behavior is intolerable. He wanted to say intolerant, sir, and in his usual nervousness as he speaks in this place, he said intolerable. No, Mr. Speaker, sir, the first concern I have, therefore, is for there to be clarity from the Democratic Labour Party as to whether it is that it is their policy that the Bridgetown sewage plant is not worthy of being upgraded, sir. Because that is what we've come to talk about 12 million United States dollars about. That is what it is about. Let us not be mealy-mouthed about it. And therefore, if it is that the mere fact that the Minister of Finance has come here to say that he's going to go to the CARICOM Development Fund to get the funding to upgrade the sewage project, that triggers automatically from the Democratic Labour Party an allegation of mismanagement of public funds, then I want clarity of purpose. Is it that he is saying, therefore, because there's no evidence adduced to any other suggestion of mismanagement, all that has been said is we want to fix the sewage plant and upgrade it. Huh? That's all that has been said. Don't tell me about old-fashioned politics, Mr. Speaker. I hold in my hand, Mr. Speaker, because I don't come in here bankrupt of the evidence. I hold in my hand a copy of Chapter 10A, the Public Accounts Committee Act in Barbados. The honourable member who is chair of the Public Accounts Committee likes to wash his mouth on this government. His first utterance is when he was challenged to give reasons why he went, what part he went, sir. He came up, he dreamed up, oh, well, there's quantumania in the government and to spend money badly. He said it this evening. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want him to go and read, the legislation. And at Section 7 of the Act, the duties of the committee are to examine the audited financial statements of the authorities of the government to which the Act applies and intergovernmental bodies to which the Act applies. And all statutory corporation entities in which the Crown owns not less than 50% of the share capital or controls at least 50% of the voting rights in the entity. Mr. Speaker, sir, he likes to talk about Comey, about Kensington. Kensington Oval Management, Inc. is an entity in which government owns 50% at least. Let him not just be mealy mouth now. Do some work, Star. Get the audited financial statements, Star. Huh? Get the audited financial statements now and put the money where your mouth is. Because it is all well and good to walk up and down Barbados telling me about what the public feel about Kensington. I saw the hundreds and thousands gathered there. I have talked to people too. I have not heard a man or woman say anything other than money well spent. I was there Saturday. When Australia was blistering England, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I don't know what part he was, but I know that his name was talked all through Kensington. But has he taken leave of his senses? Has the man gone mad? But this place is wonderful. That's all that I heard. No, Mr. Speaker, sir, if it is that he talking to different Barbadians that has different things, let us don't talk too much old talk. It is time that you do some work. You've been leading the Democratic Labour Party long enough now to do little work, Star. So therefore, call for the financial statement, audit financial statements of Comey, and let us get down to brass tacks. We will bear, you like to quote Shakespeare, we will beard you in Denmark. We will bear, no, in the fullness of the time, because there's too much false accusation, there's too much innuendo, there's too much scurrility being thrown from that side of the house over here, baseless, empty propaganda, and it is time that we need to learn in this country whether the leader, newly minted, of the Democratic Labour Party is nothing but an empty suit. And if it is that he's nothing but an empty suit, spare the people the pain of persisting, because you have already been told, let the people go. You've already been told, Mr. Speaker, sir. Now, the other aspect of it, Mr. Speaker, is the need for us to again remind the honourable member of the duty of the government. Because we cannot turn a blind eye to the need for us to do the necessary maintenance work on a fundamental installation for utility purposes in Barbados, such as a sewage plant. The honourable member, Mr. Speaker, sir, just gave a speech in here in which he sought to suggest that the government was guilty of mismanagement of the public finances because the government dared to raise the specter of getting a loan in order to finance it. It ain't to say that we have done anything and done it badly. We are just saying we will raise the money by way of a loan. And that incurred from this novitiate, Mr. Speaker, sir, an accusation of financial impropriety. Well, I'm not interested in what you may think the public believes. I'm concerned about what you believe. Because the public is not here to speak, you are. And if without anything being done by any minister in this government, there can be an allegation of financial impropriety, then, Mr. Speaker, sir, it tells me that there's a level of recklessness that is unprecedented. Because for there to be impropriety, there will have to be an act. Is that not true, Mr. Speaker, sir? I don't want to have to lecture the King's Council on the basics of the law, but there would have to be an actus reus, a so-called wrongful act. The wrongful act cannot
I
be...
remember, I believe that, and I just want to admonish people, our members in here. The time is fast approaching.
Yes, sir.
Where if behavior like this continues.
Like mine?
Hold on, I am speaking, our member.
Sorry.
A word to the wise is enough. But from today's crescendo in this honorable chamber, the time is fast approaching where people might be asked to leave this honorable chamber or be taken out of this honorable chamber. It is apparent that this time is fast approaching. A word to the wise is enough. Continue, honorable
Very well
Mr.
said,
Nelson.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Very well said. But I am not entering any plea of mitigation for anybody, Mr. Speaker, but I understand why there's the discomfort. Because you are, as I said, so novitiate, so unprepared, so reckless in your approach, that the mere suggestion of raising money in order to do necessary work is misconstrued in your mind, in your tormented mind, as being financial impropriety. Now that level of thinking, sir, I think is without any precedent in this House. This House has been blessed with people who have demonstrated leadership, sir, by way of an understanding and a comprehension, not only about the numbers, but, sir, an analysis. But what we hear today is that the Minister of Finance comes and he is proposing that the House give him the permission to go to the CARICOM Development Fund to get $12 million to make sure that we don't let the Bridgetown sewage plant run down, and that it got sewage all through the streets of Bridgetown, as happened in Worthing, where the leader of the opposition represents, and as was done to the people out there by the government that he now has gone and aligned himself with, the party that he aligned himself with. Mr. Speaker, sir, that mere demonstration of intent on the part of the finance minister gives rise to accusations which are unfounded, accusations, sir, which are scurrilous, and I say baseless, in fact, Mr. Speaker, sir. And were not in here, I would say that they are malicious as well. And that is, Mr. Speaker, sir, that there's financial impropriety. How could there be financial impropriety in thought? Are you accusing the Minister of Finance of having larceny in his heart? He has done nothing yet. And no evidence has been adduced to this chamber, Mr. Speaker, so to suggest of any financial impropriety anywhere else. And this is what governance is now being reduced to by the opposition, which is adopting the very unfortunate posture of just slinging mud and maligning anybody, pelt it on the wall, pelt it at the wall, and hope that something sticks. So the whole government is guilty of financial impropriety. Every minister is guilty of financial impropriety. What absolute garbage, Mr. Speaker. Especially coming from he who alone has the power to convene a public accounts committee. I went to the last one, sir. Button bout. Could not decide what they're going to do. Ask me where I feel we should start. Well, I had to tell him, well, you are the chairman. But I said that to him. The clerks at the bar table were there. The clerks at the table were there, Mr. Speaker, so I had to tell him, you are the chair. You decide. The King's Council. Huh? I don't get tired with all of that there, because the Emperor Caligula went and sought counsel from his ass. That is written, sir, in history. The Emperor Caligula sought counsel from his ass. Went in the stable, saw this council thing, king, queen, whoever. I don't get tired with that. But the point is, Mr. Speaker, sir, that there is a need for us to be very clear on this matter of trust, because he used it repeatedly. I'm not going to bed tonight unless I deal with it. If you believe that there's elements of untrustworthiness in the government of Barbados, put up or shut up. I say it again. If you believe that there's elements of untrustworthiness in the government of Barbados, put up or shut up. But you and you alone have the capacity to bring these issues to this parliament if you feel that they exist and that they are real. But what this place must not ever be used as, sir, as a place where you come with empty pantomime, that you come in here, scurrilize everybody on the opposite side, do not have a shred of evidence, do not have a whisper of anything corroborative to support what you are saying, but at the same time, sir, you expect to be taken seriously. It cannot work. And that is why, perhaps, we find ourselves spending so much time reflecting on what is unfolding in George Street. Because, Mr. Speaker, sir, I think the gentleman who calls himself Mr. Blackett got it right. They were going along very good. They were going along very good. And then this avalanche of confusion descended upon them. Mindlessness. And we are not supposed to reflect in awe and amazement that a party that has at one time or another held the reins of government and passed legislation to govern people's behavior in this country is descending into cutting off locks, breaking and entering, burglary, Mr. Speaker, sir, accusing one another of egregious crimes. Do you know that the Police Service of Barbados has been called in twice in the course of the last 9 months, in one gestation period, twice, Mr. Speaker, sir? On what? For the first time, sir, it was electoral fraud, allegations of electoral fraud that the stole of voters list. The stole of voters list in order to conduct an internal election. If you have to stoop to that level of malfeasance, I don't know. That's what they accuse each other of. Are they fit to be unleashed on the public of Barbados? And then the second time, Mr. Speaker, sir, more recently, they're calling the police again. Now, perhaps what Mr. Blackett should be talking about is the outcome of either of those two instances where the police's ordinary day-to-day business was disrupted so that we would have an understanding of where the criminality truly lies. I would hate to think they're just wasting the police's time. And that perhaps that is where the country now would benefit from some understanding. But instead of that, this newly minted leader calls a press conference because he has to stamp his authority. One is lifting weights on social media, and the other one is holding press conferences. And in his press conference, oh Lord, more calamity falls from his mouth. He is writing a manifesto. Now, it is an assault on common sense, Mr. Speaker, sir, because what manifesto could you be writing when the people got you in court and saying that you can't lead them nowhere? But they have you in court. They put you in court and say you can't lead them anywhere. They take up a whole Chief Justice of Barbados time. A whole Chief Justice that apparently y'all feel ain't got nothing to do. Take up your time to say what? To say what? They may soon get rid of you, but you're writing a manifesto for them. What madness is this? It is midsummer's madness, Mr. Speaker, sir. Sir, but I say simply this. I only entered this debate, sir, because we got to get the record right. If he wants to talk about trust, that's what trust is about. The public of Barbados needs to know that they can trust people who are holding leadership positions. You can't be calling in the police and don't tell the police the outcome. It isn't a secret. You call them in publicly. The police that can be attending to somebody's rape case. The police that can be attending to somebody that called for them because the house was burgled or they were shot at, sir. You call them away from other duties. There's a need now for the country to know. Yes, you all may wish to have an indulgence in voter fraud with each other, but you're calling the police for that too. So now the public has a need to know. You put it in the public domain. Don't tell me about trust. I am not going to be lectured on trust from people like them. People who accuse each other of abject deceit. That is what electoral fraud is. If I've stolen a voter's list in order to rig an election, I am accusing you of theft and I'm accusing you of corruption and fraud. Are you going to tell me about trust? You going to tell me about trust? No, Skipper. I told you already today, sell that snake oil elsewhere. Don't bring it in here. Or choose a day when I overseas. I hope you get away with them. But it can't work. I see you for what you are, gentlemen. I see you for what you are. You, sir, are to be forgiven only because you are a desperado at this moment, holding on for dear life in an institution that does not want you. Having acted rashly without consultation, you find yourself in no man's land. You want to haul in the kite. You want to row the ship backwards. Don't know how to come ashore that way, Mr. Speaker, sir. But we can't help you, no. You went too far. You went too far out on a limb. If the limb is breaking under his weight, sir, that is none that we can do. Not even a safety net, sir, we can't provide for him. So the point is, Mr. Speaker, sir, that I wanted to make this position clear. One, I am not taking pupillage on trust, not from the Democratic Labour Party. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very simple matter. The finance minister has made it clear there is an issue that requires attention and will require financing at the Bridgetown sewage plant. Are we being told by the opposition, noble and true opposition, that their policy is left the sewage plant, let whatever happen, happen? And it is within our recent memory that that was the position of a Democratic Labour Party government in Worthing in the constituency of this honourable member. And maybe because he associated himself with their way of doing things in Worthing back then, that is why he feels it comfortable to go and embrace them now, because really and truly mentally he was with them all along and their way of doing things. And if that was the case, then that will be the second time you have snubbed the people you represent. You snubbed them in all things where you said they were unworthy of the money, unworthy of $5 million. You know what? Poor working class people that selling fish, Mr. Speaker, sir, Crazy Eddie and others that got a little shop. They're not supposed to get a quart of paint. They're supposed to get proper bathroom facilities. And then when they get the thing, sir, he condemns them because he see red. Good Lord.
Honourable member, please join it.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm done with that.
Honourable member for Christchurch East Central.
Mr. Speaker, I am not often speechless, but I could find no coherent thought coming from the member for Christchurch South in anything that he's put to this chamber today in relation to these very serious matters. And it is unfortunate because he raised issues of trust, and I know, sir, that the people of this country, for good reason, determined that they do not want any member of the Democratic Labour Party, sir, near the treasury or the public purse of this country. And they voted on 2 occasions, sir, to ensure that that is the case. And therefore, when the honourable member comes in here talking about the government has lost the trust of the people with respect to the management of the public finances, I take it personally, I take it professionally, because I've spent the last 6 years, sir, to try to bring a measure of respect back to this country, not just in terms of managing finances, but just the improvement, sir, of the delivery of public goods and public services that the public expects from a responsible government, sir. This Barbados Labour Party government has worked to deliver, sir, on the basic things as well as on the things, sir, that we know will help transform this country. So the honourable member needs to check himself and those around him, because the very substance of this debate here in relation to the upgrade of the Bridgetown sewage plant, sir, speaks at the heart, sir, of what it is to improve people's lives. No, sir, he made reference to the fact that we keep bringing things here and that we hiding. No, pray tell, sir. Pray tell. We bring resolutions here to this chamber to say the government borrowing XYZ to do the next third, and he is going to suggest that the process of us coming to tell the public, sir, the terms and conditions under which we are borrowing and what we're borrowing the money for, that the government is hiding. Because he now, sir, discovered that this is how Parliament works, sir. This is how Parliament works. And to the extent that he can suggest that people are either present or absent in this place, when this government, sir, has been present, sir, for the last 6 years to respond to the critical needs of the people of this country, sir, I think it is an insult, sir. It is an insult. And the Prime Minister, sir, up to today, in the anteroom to the Senate, was on a call, sir, with the insurance Development Forum, the IDF, sir, to try to ensure that the issues related to the fact that insurance is becoming such a critical part of how we evolve the financial system, that we're, for example, sir, in some parts of California, some parts of Florida, sir, insurance companies are no longer offering insurance for specific things, the wildfires that were taking place in California, for example, sir. And therefore, when the Prime Minister speaks about the fact that we have to change what we are doing in order to help mitigate our people being able to be exposed in that way, and therefore, we have to change things, sir, to ensure that we too are not caught up in it, because, quite frankly, when reinsurance rates go up, sir, they're passed on across the region. Why, sir? Because insurance is a pool process, sir. And therefore, the Prime Minister, in advocating for the fact that small states not just need access to finance, but being able to ensure that we can utilize new technologies to reduce the perceived risk, sir, such that the reinsurance rates will be enhanced and that we can get greater space to be able to ensure that, not just with respect to houses, but as you know, sir, you need insurance to get a mortgage. You got a business, sir, you need insurance. All of these things matter, sir, in the ordinary lives of people. And he made some reference about the Prime Minister in London. The forum was being held in London, and the Prime Minister was speaking to the people in London. Today, in case he doesn't realize, there is technology available to do that too. And therefore, the Prime Minister, in continuing to lead in relation to the Bristol Initiative, it is important to understand, sir, that unless we get these things right, Barbados or the region, sir, will not be able to achieve climate resilience. And therefore, we continue to press the point that not just in relation to financing, but in relation to insurance, that is going to matter, sir, what we do. So when he's talking what he's talking, we are saying, I am simply saying to Bajans, we now have to do things differently from what we were doing before, Mr. Speaker, and therefore this government will continue to work with any stakeholder who's prepared to help improve the lives of ordinary Barbadians. He said, sir, that we are making frequent visits to the bank, but I'm here to tell the honourable member, I will continue to go to the bank, sir, because you know what, sir? Next month, sir, we're going to bring another loan agreement here, sir, to buy back some debt cheaper than it is now, sir, to allow us to upgrade the South Coast sewage plant, which is in his constituency. So I hope that when we bring it back then, sir, that you criticize that too, because what we're going to, you know what we're going to do? We're going to issue a cheaper rate, and we're going to borrow against the savings to ensure that the South Coast sewage plant, sir, can get upgraded. In the same way, sir, from the same GCF that providing the grant funding for this Bridgetown, sir, is a part of that deal. And therefore, if he don't believe, sir, that the people of this country, that this minister will go to the bank, sir, each and every time to make sure that we get a better deal, sir, for the people of this country, I will do that every day for the rest of my life, sir, to make sure that we can deliver for the lives of ordinary citizens. Every day. In relation, sir, in relation to the IMF and the borrowing, because let's make it clear, sir, I know that the honourable member and the Democratic Labour Party, they have a phobia of the IMF, and that's because their public policy has always been flawed, and they cannot execute or do anything to benefit Barbadians in a substantial way. This government, under 2 programs now, have been able to meet every target that we have set under the IMF supported program of our Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program. This second program, just to remind the public, involves the Resilience and Sustainability Trust, sir. You would have seen a press release middle of May, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, when we reached staff level agreement, sir, that assessed the results up to the end of March, sir, which said that we will unlock an additional $130-something million, sir, of which some of that money is from the Resilience and Sustainability Trust. That matter, sir, will go to the IMF board, I believe it's June 27th of this month, so I believe it's June 27th. And will be approved, sir, given that we've met the targets. And when we receive that money on June 28th or 29th, sir, it is that part of that money, sir, that we're going to use to provide the capital for the Blue-Green Bank that we discussed just now. And therefore, if the honourable member has a problem with the government of Barbados using monies at concessional rates to help us to be able to respond to the people of this country, then I say, as the honourable member for St. James Central say, if that is the position of the Democratic Labour Party, that your government is not to help people, but the use of so, and put that in your manifesto, because this Barbados Labour Party, we have a mission, sir, to help transform this country and to ensure that ordinary Bajans see a better life. And we are committed to doing that, sir, and we will take those monies, invest it in the capital of this bank, which would allow this bank to be able to be much more nimble and flexible to further expand in relation to that. In relation to the fact that it's CDF, it's 3%, sir. I said so in my initial submission, it is 3%, fixed for 12 years. And therefore, I know that the Democratic Labour Party, sir, when it was last in office, had bonds at 12, near 13%. And I know that for him to hear 3% is something wrong, because they're accustomed to double-digit numbers of borrowing, which is not what we are accustomed to. We are accustomed, sir, at borrowing at sustainable levels, which allows us to be able to deliver for our people. And therefore, if he has a problem with us borrowing at 3%, if I know I have not met a Bajan, sir, that is satisfied to borrow money at 10 and 12 and 13%, and therefore I know that if I talk to any Bajan and you ask them very clearly, do you prefer to borrow at 12 or 13 or 3, mixing with a little grant, sir, to reduce the cost to them down the road and their children, as he said, in relation to financing, I know the answer that the people can tell me. Because once people are able to see improved public goods, improved public services, sir, which we are delivering, because the last government clearly, sir, abandoned their posts with respect to that. And therefore, this government, sir, this government of which I'm a part, we are proud to be able to ensure that we put together, sir, the right combination of deals to ensure that we can finance our development. And therefore, sir, every time we come to this place, and it's not as if we come in here and say it for the first time, we engage with the stakeholders, we prime people, we speak with the public, and indicate that these are the things that we are doing on their behalf. But you know what, sir? I can let the honourable member know that we ain't done there, because the same Bridgetown sewage plant, sir, we're working with another entity, sir, to make sure that the people in Chapman Lane, sir, and the surrounding areas, that as we upgrade the plant, sir, we do some urban regeneration down in the city, sir, to make sure that the people, sir, down in Emerton and those places who have been disenfranchised for so long, that we upgrade their housing condition under their urban regeneration program. The same type of program that the Democratic Labour Party allowed the money from the IDB to go back and spent, sir, because when they care about the lives of people, sir, we're going to make sure we get access to some of that money again, sir, to be able to ensure that the people in Chapman Lane and the surrounding areas, that as we upgrade this Bridgetown sewage plant, that they too, sir, can be connected to the Bridgetown sewage plant after improving their lives, sir. And that is the position, sir, of the Barbados Labour Party. So if the Democratic Labour Party, sir, does not want the people to benefit, the people from the city, sir, to benefit from that type of intervention, that is their problem. But the people in Robert Street, sir, on this side of the Parliament, sir, we are committed, sir, to ensuring that people who were left out, that we bring them into the fold, sir, improve their standard of living, and hope, sir, that they understand that they must put their trust, sir, in a government that is going to look out for not just their interests today, but the interests of them and their families, sir, down the road. And so, sir, I didn't intend to speak this long, but the honourable member certainly caused... Anyhow, we, sir, come to this Parliament to be open and transparent. And the honourable member in his position as the member for St. James Central clearly reminded him he can audit anything in relation to these expenditures. Because I know that when you go down there, sir, today, you're not going to see pumpkins growing and vines growing in no processing plant. So when you start auditing the whole, we go back and check all of the records of the Barbados Water Authority and all of the contracts that were signed under the Barbados Water Authority under the last government, and speak to his colleagues to find out where part some of that money went, sir. And still today, some of the issues that still persist with respect to the financial status of the Barbados Water Authority. And therefore, given his new mandate, I will expect that he will do so with a certain level of passion, and I hope that when he finds what he finds, that he's able to reconcile where he sits today, sir, with respect to the mess that they've left this country in, sir. And so, sir, I am happy to be able to say to this country that it is loan agreements like these, sir, that are going to be critically important to helping Barbados navigate what is becoming a even more torturous geopolitical global environment. And therefore, whilst the Democratic Labour Party is satisfied to wallow in misinformation and untruths, we are going to continue, sir, to deliver for the people of this country. And I know that the good people of this country know fact from fiction. And therefore, when they interact with reality on a day-to-day basis, sir, that their lives have been improved, not just since 2018, but we are charting a vision, sir, that will allow them to feel comfortable. And therefore, when he speaks about trust, I think he has to look in the mirror with his colleagues and do some serious self-introspection, because they've not offered, sir, a single credible solution that will give any Bajan the confidence that they could ever run this country, sir, again. And so, sir, with those very few words, I beg to move, sir, that this resolution do now pass.
The question is that this resolution do now pass. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This resolution stands passed. Honourable Leader, Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, we've come to the end of today's sitting. I therefore beg to move the adjournment of the House until the 25th of June at 10 a.m.
The question is that this honourable chamber be adjourned until Tuesday, the 25th day of June 2024 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This honourable chamber stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 25th day of June 2024 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.